I'm Mrs. Supriya, and I am delighted to be hosting this session. To start with, I extend my heartiest welcome to all the renowned delegates from different schools for being here. Your gracious presence elevates this occasion and brings a spirit of wisdom, collaboration, and mutual respect. Kalisu Guruve ni Kalisu, Kalisu Sadguruve ni Kalisu is a popular song inspired by a letter Abraham Lincoln wrote to his son's teacher when his son started school for the first time. This song serves as a reminder that with the guidance of a teacher, we can gain not only worldly knowledge but also spiritual wisdom, making our lives more meaningful and fulfilling. Apart from this, it strengthens the bond between the teacher and the students. May I now invite our students to present this beautiful song, Kalisu Guruve ni Kalisu. Thank you, students, for the heart-touching performance. This song beautifully expresses the deep respect and gratitude we have for our teachers. It reminds us how the teachers shape our lives, guiding us with knowledge and values. Let's give a big round of applause to everyone who brought out the essence of this wonderful teacher-student bond through their performance. In the morning, we had theoretical base to empower humanity through education. Now we are going to witness the practical side of this philosophy. So, this session is Philosophy to Practice. We have representatives of 4 schools with us who are going to give a 20-minute presentation where they showcase how their school nurtures human values and abilities, focusing on their core educational philosophy. They highlight one of the best practices from their curriculum that promotes human dignity and ethical development. Additionally, they share how they effectively balance the use of technology with the development of human-centered skills, ensuring that tech enhances rather than replaces personal growth. They share how they have made these practices consistent and effective and also provide evidence that demonstrate the impact of their approach on students' and teachers' abilities and behaviors. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our presenters with a huge round of applause as they share their valuable insights and experiences with us. May I kindly invite the representatives of 4 schools, Ms. Vibha K.R., Academic Director at Hongirana School of Excellence, Amate Koppa. Mr. Ashok Tekate, State Resource Person, Government Higher Primary School, Heskuttur. Mr. Sharana Kumara, Principal of Sri Siddhivanayaka Residential School, Hattiyangadi. Mrs. Saira Banu B.A., Educator and Principal of Purna Learning Center, Bengaluru, to grace the stage. Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to welcome each one of you here today. We are gathered for a special occasion and your presence adds great warmth and significance to this gathering. On behalf of SMS English Medium School and IKES, I extend my profound welcome to all of you. Let us take this time to celebrate, share ideas, and build memories together. Thank you for being with us, and I hope you have a meaningful and enjoyable experience. May I now request Mrs. Feroza Fayaz, Principal of Prestige International School, Mangalore, to do the floral welcome to Ms. Vibha K.R. as a gesture of an admiration. Thank you, ma'am. I kindly ask Mr. Bhujangapi Shetty, Principal of Sri Lakshmi Janardana International School, Belmont, to offer a floral welcome to Mr. Ashok Tekate as an emblem of our respect. Thank you, sir. May I request Mrs. Anupama Shetty, Principal of Cambridge School, Mangalore, to do the floral welcome to Mr. Sharana Kumara as a token of our sincere greetings. Thank you, ma'am. May I invite Mr. George Kurian, Principal of GM Vidyaniketan Public School, Brahmavar, to extend a fragrant welcome to Mrs. Saira Banu as a symbol of our honor and appreciation. Thank you, sir. Let me begin by introducing our first eminent speaker, Ms. Vibha K.R. Ms. Vibha K.R.'s journey in education is deeply rooted in her own experiences as a student. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism from Vijaya College, Bangalore University, and a Master's degree in Education from Ajim Premji University, Bangalore. Ms. Vibha's teaching philosophy is inspired by her fond memories of physical education classes and extracurricular activities during her school days. She strives to create an engaging and joyful learning environment, fostering a love for learning in her students. With her dedication and enthusiasm, Vibha aims to transform the learning experience at Hongirana School of Excellence. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite Ms. Vibha K.R. to present her knowledge and experience. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. I'm here today just as the representative of my school, our school, Hongirana School of Excellence. And I must say it is an honor to be sharing our vision, philosophy, and the journey of our school with you all today, such experienced teachers and senior leaders. So I am actually honored. While I'm feeling honored, there's also a little bit of fluttering happening in my stomach. I don't know whether it's the food or the nervousness, and I'm hoping it's the nervousness. So I need to lose myself. So I think with that heavy lunch, you all need to energize a bit also. So not as part of my presentation, but let's do a quick energizer. Can we all stand up? You also stand up, yes, please. So this is you. Okay, this is a quick movement, that's all. So when I bend this phone towards my right, you're also mirroring the action. That means you're also bending towards your left. And when I'm bending my phone towards my left, you should bend towards your right. And whatever action I do with my phone, like if I take it down, you squat a bit. If I take it high, maybe try and jump a bit. Is that possible? Or are you too full to do it? No? Yes. Let's start? Okay. No music, so I'll give music. Tin, tidin, tidin, tidin. Sorry. Okay. Now can we add? Okay. Can we add sound to it? So when you're bending towards your right, make a sound, ooh, and ah, then ha. Okay, can we do that? Okay. Yes, let's start. Thanks a lot. So can we go to the next page? Next page of the same. I have prepared, for me it's an interesting PPT, but while I'm sharing whatever's there on the PPT, on the screen, I am trying to tell it like a story because I studied in this school, I have seen this school grow as a student there, and now I'm seeing it develop as a teacher, educator, and administrator there. So I'm trying to tell this story from different perspectives of mine, yes. So the school started in the year 2003 in a go down of a pickle factory with 47 children. The school began with a vision and, more importantly, dream of a bunch of teachers who were working in Navodaya Vidyalaya, who felt that there is a need for quality education and experiential education or learning platform for children in rural Karnataka then. So that's when they decided we will together start a school. And this school came to be. Even though their vision was very simple, but it was profound. It was driven with lot of interest towards education, interest towards making learning as memorable as possible for the children who study in this school. So it was founded with a strong purpose of making learning accessible, affordable, and an enjoyable journey for students of rural areas. So if you see our campus, you can see it in the photos that I have put in the next slides. You can go to the next slide. It is nature integrated. What we believe is, since morning we have been discussing about model education, how to elevate humanity in students, in children. I think somewhere we forgot that what we are working or who we are working with are not robots. They already have a lot of moral values in them, lot of human values that we give importance to in them. And as a school, as their teacher, what I feel is that we have to help them, what as Hongirna we feel is, we have to help them tap into those values that they already have. What is important, what is right, what is wrong, prioritize. If we help them do all these things, I think elevating humanity is done there. It's as easy as that. We, of course, believe in a holistic development of the students, of the children, body, mind, and soul. Then we also try to embrace a dynamic and futuristic approach towards education when it comes to both their curricular and co-curricular activities. We want to expose our students to the vast possibilities of the world while keeping them grounded and connected to their roots and making them confident and in who they are. So I think I'm trying to summarize our well-written philosophy and vision statement and mission statement here. Next slide. This is the gist of it. Like I told in the beginning, I studied in Hongirna School of Excellence from class 3rd to 2nd PU. And I think till the age of 8 or 9, whatever labels you put for a student, I don't know if I can use this, for a bad student, I think I was all that. And whatever values I have, you can see in me, the positive qualities you can see in me today, is because of the experience I had as a student in Hongirna School of Excellence. I think I am an example now for what Hongirna School of Excellence does to a child. So, having said that, okay, this is our campus. Different activities are also put there. Human essence. So, there are a lot of values to think about. There are a lot of things that we expect from a student or a child. I'll just quickly tell what we as a school focus on. One is the empathy and compassion. We want children to be as humane as possible, and empathy, I think, is a very important quality anybody should have now. And through different practices that I'll cover later, we strive for these values: empathy and compassion, responsibility and integrity, community and cultural pride. Then we have resilience and adaptability, social responsibility, and this is my favorite, authenticity and originality amongst the students. We want them to be themselves in school, wherever they represent school, even at their home. Them being themselves is, I think, our ultimate goal as a school. When we see a child entering our school in nursery, and when we see the child leave us, not leave us, but pass out from us in class 10th or 12th, we see a completely grown child, not just excelling in the academic aspect, but also not just ready for the career, but also for the life itself. So some of the core initiatives, let me walk you through the practices that helps us make these dreams into our practice. So I just realized, I think I should have named the PPT as practice to philosophy, not philosophy to practice, because like I told, I have seen the school develop as a student, and there were a lot of practices experimented on us as students that later became philosophy of the school. So it is, I think, for us, it is practice to philosophy, not philosophy to practice. So core initiatives that we have are, one, the whole school involvement in Scout and Guide activities. I think many of the schools here are part of this Scout and Guide movement, and we know what kind of life skills and life values Scout and Guide movement, being involved in such activities can provide, the experiences that can provide to the students. Then we have something called Heartfulness class. Since we have only 20 minutes, I'll be focusing on things that are new to you. Heartfulness is something that we started in collaboration with an organization called Heartfulness. And we have weekly classes, Heartfulness classes, where we don't have, they actually have given us a textbook, but we have modified it into storytelling or story sharing class time, where we give them open space for open dialogues to share their experiences of the week, their ups and lows, and have a discussion about the entire thing. I think them knowing about their experiences, being aware of what is going on in their lives and their classmates' lives, being empathetic towards others' stories and experiences is one of the focus of this entire Heartfulness class. And cultural clubs, like many of the schools here, we have focused on the local contextual culture there. Example, Yakshagana. Then we have Hase Chitrakale classes. Then we have traditional songs, Sampradayika Hadugalu. Those sessions are there. These are all done bi-weekly. Different resource persons come and engage with the kids in whatever they're interested to learn for that time. And then we have something called L&N peer learning time, where since morning, I think we have had discussion about how education is a product of society or process and all these things. I think these all come under that. This is the part of the process. This, where L&N, literacy and numeracy peer learning, where students are working towards, together towards reaching certain goal or expectations set for them, academic expectations set for them, making sure that their classmates are not left behind. So they are teaching one another, they are learning from one another, of course with the facilitation of the teachers. And there is a lot of learning there. And then mental health workshop, we had Archana ma'am with us today. In the college she is working with, we have collaborated with them, and their MSc students come to our school to talk to the students about the confusions they go through during their middle school and high school time, be it the different kinds of distraction or having or managing a healthy relationship with their peers, fellow classmates. So we have sessions on all those things, teaching children to manage themselves better. And Samagra integrated curriculum is our pride. So I will be talking in detail about this because we were asked to share about one of the practices that is new, or yesterday while we were talking, we were using the word USP, unique selling point of our school is Samagra integrated curriculum. So what, can we go to the next slide? Yes. What we do in Samagra. Samagra is the brainchild of our founder principal, who is sitting here with us, Mrs. Shobha K, who, if you remember what Giridhar said, break the norm constructively. I think that is what we have tried to do here. We have tried to break the norm, break the subject barriers, and make learning a holistic experience for the children, where with this Samagra initiative, we have children from class UKG to class 3rd learning not subject-wise, but thematically. Every month there is a theme given to them. Of course, there's a textbook, workbook and all. There's a theme given to them, and for the entire month they will be working on that theme, learning calculations, learning different aspects of EVS, language development, reading development, speaking development, whatever skill you choose for such young learners, that is done thematically, 1 month, one theme kind of approach is there. I would like to quickly tell you the expectation we wanted to meet when we planned for this integration. We have been practicing this for 10 years now, and I think you need to be ready to clap now, because this entire integrated curriculum was developed by our teachers. It was almost project, it is still an ongoing project where we keep updating these texts. So one was to give exposure to children to help them make connections across curriculum, not see learning different abstract things as subjects, but as just knowledge and concepts. Then provide scope for the development of their abilities through activities, projects, and hands-on experiences. So different projects, as part of these projects, are given to children where they work together and work on that theme that month, and work on that project and present it together at such young age. You can imagine what kind of values and skills will be developed when children are exposed to these things at such young age. Then using both teacher-directed and also children-directed, initiated activities in the classes. There is a discussion that goes on with teachers and the students to do whether to do this project or that project. An option is given to the students on what to do when it comes to certain themes, or when, let's say, my body parts. So when the children are learning about body parts, they are not only just learning this is eyes, this is nose, this is mouth, it is not by heart. They are experiencing it and learning it through different stories, through different poems, through skits, and making certain charts. Different projects are given to them. Then, Then using activities that lead to the effective learning of the content. Like I said, I think I should have added some of the pages of Samagra. I can share it with Abhilasha Madam, which she can share later. So it is completely, if you look at the textbook, Samagra textbook, it is a self-learning kind of a textbook. All they need is a little bit of adult intervention on what to do and how to do, and just to guide through the textbook, but everything they have, it's a workbook in general, and children can do it on their own, at their own pace, whenever they feel like doing. That is how Samagra is designed. And this, like I said, is the pride of Hongirna, where a lot of things are covered, life skills are covered, and different values are covered. And do I still have time? That's it? Okay. I think to conclude, we want children to be, like I said, be authentic, be themselves, and simultaneously contribute positively to the society they live in. And that is our ultimate goal. And with these practices, we are trying to reach that goal. And I think sessions and conferences like these give us a boost to do more. And I want to thank IKES for conducting this, organizing this, and giving us and me a chance to share our practices and our experiences in our school. So thank you. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a great talk. Now let me take a moment to introduce our next esteemed presenter, Mr. Ashok Tekate. Mr. Ashok Tekate is a dedicated educator with 22 years of teaching experience at Government Higher Primary School, Heskuttur. He has received numerous awards, including the Udupi District Best Teacher Award and the Nation Builder Award from Rotary. Mr. Ashok is a prolific writer with over 100 published poems and articles. He has pioneered literary initiatives including the monthly magazine Namma Inchara and class-wise magazines. He has organized conferences, trained teachers, and worked as an editor and scriptwriter. Mr. Ashok is a certified trainer and has completed courses from Arizona State University and the British Council. He has implemented innovative educational experiments, established an English language lab, and holds various leadership positions in organizations. Mr. Ashok is a multifaceted educator, writer, and leader dedicated to quality education and community service. With your consent, I would like to call upon Mr. Ashok Tikkatte to share his expertise with us today. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm the only teacher here in this seminar hall from a government school, that too from purely a Kannada medium school. Here, I'm not going to talk about much in line with the philosophical or theoretical part of my experiments we have taken in our school. I just want to talk about one of the innovative ideas that we have implemented in our school, that is English, development of English language lab. Our school is Government Higher Primary School, Heskuturu, which is situated in a remote rural area in Kundapur. It is around 22 kilometers away from Kundapura headquarters. It's a very small village. These days we can see the number of students in government schools is going on declining year by year. But being in a rural area, the Government Higher Primary School Heskuturu has been witnessing a constant rise in number of students by being a Kannada medium school. We have not switched over to English medium schools in order to attract the number of students, increase the number of students. The idea of starting English medium section in a Kannada medium school is going on, but we have only Kannada medium section, but we are seeing a constant rise in number of students in our school by being Kannada medium school. My point is, our concept is to, by being a Kannada medium school, teaching English as a language effectively, still we can sustain the number of students in our Kannada medium school. That is possible. That is achieved in our school. We have conducted a lot of innovative activities in our school, but I would like to focus on one of the ideas that is implemented, that is subject-wise classroom system. The subject-wise classroom system is one. It's an idea that has been introduced in our school from last 12 years. It's meant by having a separate classroom for each subject. There is no 4th standard, 5th standard, 6th standard, 7th standard in our school. We have Kannada, we have mathematics class, we have English class, we have science class. In that way, we have subject-wise classes instead of the number of grades. Here, each classroom is specially set according to the need of that particular subjects with all required teaching learning materials, visual supports, audio-visual aids. Suppose if it is an English classroom, what we can see in that room is everything is related to English only. The audio-visual support, the visual support, and teaching learning materials are systematically kept. And mathematics room is also done in the same way, and also the science room. What students move from one class to another class, they won't remain in the same class throughout the day. They remain in the, for example, the 7th standard students, they have English period in the first period. They go to English class. If they have science in the second period, they move to second science class. If they have maths in the next period, they move to maths class. In that way, they move from one class to another class. The advantage is, They remain active throughout the day. Every class becomes a new beginning to them. And when they enter a new class, they automatically, their mindset set into the particular subject because they can see only the materials or the atmosphere that is related to that particular subject only. That is the idea that we have implemented from last 12 years. Under this idea, we have developed an English, Happy English, it is named as Happy English, an audio-visual English classroom and an English lab. Now, I will talk about that English classroom, how it is set, and also about the English language lab. A language learning happens at its best when it takes place in a conducive and supportive setup where students have ample opportunities, get exposed to different language skills. Subject-wise classroom system is an innovative experiment done in this regard. The English classroom is named Happy English and Audiovisual English Classroom. English teaching for all the students of the school takes place here at different periods. This classroom is all set with useful learning materials which gives hands-on experience to students to learn the language effectively and efficiently. Here we have the support of internet connection and the projectors. When we teach the students, when we take up a lesson, if we need to show something to them instantly, we can go to the Google or any other sources, online sources, we can use it there itself. In that way, internet connection can be used. And more importantly, the flashcards in a language, I'm just talking about language teaching now. In a language classroom, we cannot see big models to teach. We don't need them. Even the small flashcards, they play a major role. We have set the flashcard basket for each lesson separately. The flashcards, those baskets are named after each lesson. The flashcards and also other teaching learning materials related to that particular topic or the particular lesson is kept in those flashcard baskets. When we take up a lesson, we take those flashcards into action. With the help of just simple flashcards made of waste invitation materials, we can do more than 20 useful and effective language learning activities inside the classroom. That is possible. And the teaching learning materials, we have area-wise compartments for teaching learning materials. These materials related to teach different areas, listening, speaking, reading and writing, grammar, vocabulary, and rhymes, stories, everything are kept, and Scrabble boards, spelling development activities, everything is set separately, systematically. And with the help of those materials, we engage students in different activities. What happens is, in the absence of teachers also, if there is no teacher in the classroom, students themselves engage by using these activities, the materials that are available in that English classroom. Okay, and that room is, the Happy English room is all set with visual support. That means print-rich atmosphere is created there. The print materials that is made of vinyl prints and other printing materials related to different areas, grammar, vocabulary, visual support, visual things, everything is systematically kept there. And flannel boards to showcase the written work of the students. Everything is systematically. I can show it in the later video. There is a video, I can show it clearly. And one more thing to teach, one more effort that we have done to teach English effectively in our school is to have started a spoken English class separately, not in the schedule of the school timings. Actually, I go to school by 8 in the morning. Actually, the regular school starts by 9:30 onwards, but I go to school by 8 in the morning, and from 8:30 to 9:30, I take spoken English class for students from last 9 years. That has contributed greatly in improving the spoken English ability of our students. That's why, though our school is situated in a very remote place, we don't have any vehicle facility in our school. Completely Kannada medium school. Medium of instruction is Kannada medium, but we have given extra emphasis on English teaching through these spoken English classes and English language lab and separate English classroom for English. These parents send their children from around 10 kilometers surroundings to our school. Our school has 203 students. Out of those 203 students, only 70 students are from that particular village. Remaining around 120 students, they come from surrounding villages, from 10 kilometer surroundings, on their own expense of transport for a Kannada medium school. It is not an English medium school. This is possible with that we have achieved in our school. And when it comes to talk about the practices, there are many. I would like to just focus on, I would like to give an example of one of the activities that we do not, that I have used in my classroom. At the beginning of every English class, English lesson, I normally give 5 minutes time to the students to present their own skit. The 5 minutes for their own skit. Each class is divided into 6 groups. One team will get chance a day, every day in that way, 6 days, 6 teams. Students prepare their own skit with their own script, with their own direction. They share their roles, everything. Everything is from their side only. We don't have given help to them also. They present a skit every day. That has become a very good experiment for me to teach a language. I do it in English and as well as Kannada also. What happens here is, they ideate the story, they direct themselves, they speak, they act, they enjoy a lot. That gives me a feedback. As a teacher, I can take the feedback that how their level is up when it comes to speaking ability, what kind of grammar mistake they do, how confident they are, how expressive they are, how creative they are. All these feedback I can get it from the students with the help of just one activity. This is one of the activities I just shared here. And I would like to come to the lab section now. Our room is divided into 2 parts. One is classroom, another is lab, English lab. Here, a well-equipped English language lab is also set up in my school. We have 30 computers in which language lab software has been installed. Students can log in with separate login ID and password to use the language lab. This platform supports language learning with options for role plays, tests to gauge their performance. Instant graded feedback is available. It allows the students to do educational tasks such as listen to audio recordings, test their vocabulary, learn grammar rules. Teacher can closely monitor every student actively, and also this enables the teacher to help students more effectively. All 4 basic language skills, listening, speaking, reading and writing, are emphasized in this communicative language lab. Here, teacher can communicate one-to-one with individual student in private. Teacher can bring weaker students up to the speed with the rest of the class quickly. Role play helps students acquire accents and mannerisms. Instant scoring, actually, when they go through a text or watch a video or listen to an audio, they have to complete an exercise there itself. That gives them instant feedback, and also it's a motivation also to go for next section. In that way, actually, we have started it from last 1 month. We have just the experience of just using it from last 1 month. I cannot say comprehensively the impact of that to language lab. I need just some more time to talk about it, the overall impact of it. We have just started from last 1 month. This is all about the English language lab. There is a video that is done by, it is for Varta Bharat, it is done. Let's watch the video. You can get some additional information regarding the video, our English language lab. furniture here, I would like to draw your attention to the furniture. The tables are set for 2 students together. If 2 tables are put together, it's a group work of 4 students. If there are 3 tables put together, it becomes a round table. And it can be, 6 students can be engaged to have the group work.
ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿ ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥಿತವಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆ ನಾವು ಚಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಇಡೀ ರೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ಒಂದು ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಆಗಿ, ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ಫುಲ್ ರೂಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಪ್ರತಿ ವಾಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿಯಿಂದ ಹೈಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸುಲಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಬಿಡುವಂತದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಪಾಠಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಹಾಗೆ ಆ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಿಜುವಲ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಜುವಲ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಿಗುವಂತ ಚಿತ್ರಗಳಿವೆ, ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಇದೆ, ವೊಕ್ಯಾಬ್ಯುಲರಿ ಇದೆ, ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಸುಲಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕುವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡೀ ರೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ.
ಹೌದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪನೂ ಜಾಗ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದು, ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಡೀ ರೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮೊದಲೇ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇರೋದು ಹಾಗೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ತರ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಓಪನ್ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅವರೇ ಇದು ಯಾವ್ದು ಲಾಕ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರೇ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಓದ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ತರದ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಾರ್ನರ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಕ್ ಪಾಟ್ ಅಂತ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಕ್ ಪಾಟ್ನ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳು ಪ್ರತಿ ವಾರ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್, ರೈಟಿಂಗ್, ಲಿಸ್ನಿಂಗ್, ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಗೋದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಇದೊಂದು ಆಡಿಯೋ ವಿಜುವಲ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್. ಅದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ರೊಜೆಕ್ಟರ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ನೋಡಿ, ಈಗ ಗಮನಿಸಬಹುದು, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಗೋಡೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ರೊಜೆಕ್ಟರ್ ವಾಲಾಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೆಟ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್, ವೈಫೈ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡುವ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಅವರ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ನಾಲೆಜಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುವಂಥ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳನ್ನು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸರ್, ಹೆಸ್ಕೂತ್ರು ತೀರಾ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂಥ ಶಾಲೆ, ತೀರಾ ಬಡ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬರುವಂಥ ಶಾಲೆ. ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಕೊಡಬೇಕೆನ್ನುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ನಮ್ಮದು. ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳೆ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಅದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಂಗೆ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಓವರ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಿಕ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಇದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಿನ ಒಂದು ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡುವ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಪನೆ. ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಆಡಿಯೋ ವಿಜುವಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ನೀವು ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಇದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ವೈಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಳವಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ವೈಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಪೀಡಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು. ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 7ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪೀಡಿಗೆ 6ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪೀಡಿಗೆ ಆ ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ರೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ರೂಮಿನ ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ ಕೆಲವು ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಗಳು ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಒಂದು ಪಾಠಕ್ಕೆ 7ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಪಾಠ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಲೈಫಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್. ಹಾಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾಠಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ, ಆ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿ ಪಾಠದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾದ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಈ ತರ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿವೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದಿದೆ ನಾನು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. 7ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ 1ನೇ ಪಾಠದ 3ನೇ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಈ ವರ್ಡ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಿದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಬಂದು ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ತರ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದೇ ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ತರಗತಿಗಳ ಪ್ರತಿ ಪಾಠದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಇಡುವಂಥ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್. ಇದು ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಇಂಥ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ನ ಸಿಗೋದು ಭಾಳ ಕಮ್ಮಿ. ಸುಮಾರು 30 ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂಥ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ವೊಕ್ಯಾಬುಲರಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಂಡಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನು ಯಾವಾಗ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ 8:30 ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 9:00 ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ 2015ನೇ ಇಸ್ವಿಯಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 8 ಗಂಟೆ ಶಾಲೆ ಬರ್ತೇನೆ. 8:30 8-9:30 ಸ್ಪೋಕನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಇನ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ಪೋಕನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಕಲಿಯುವಂಥ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಅತ್ಯಾಧುನಿಕವಾದಂಥ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಒನ್ ಗುಡ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಎನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು NGO ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಬಹಳ ಸಹಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಶ್ರೀ ಆನಂದ್ ಕುಂದರ್ ಅವರು ದಾನಿಗಳು ತುಂಬ ಸಹಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಗಣೇಶ್ ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಅಂತವ್ರು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆ ಜಯರಾಮ್ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಫರ್ನಿಚರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು, ಹೀಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ತುಂಬ ಜನ, ಮತ್ತು ನಾವು ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೋಷಕರು ಕೂಡ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಣ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಸಹಕಾರದಿಂದ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಅತ್ಯಾಧುನಿಕವಾದ ಒಂದು ಲ್ಯಾಬನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಿದೆ.
I'm happy to learn.
Okay, this is all about our English language lab that's developed in a rural area, that too in a government school, completely a Kannada medium school. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. Now let me have the pleasure of introducing our next distinguished speaker, Mr. Sharana Kumara. Mr. Sharana Kumara is a multifaceted educationist and administrator with a strong academic background in physics, child mental health, and business management. He began his teaching career in 2005 and joined Sri Siddhivinayaka Residential School in 2006, where he rose through the ranks to become principal in 2011. He currently serves as the secretary of Sri Siddhi Shaikshanika Pratishtana and principal of Sri Vinayaka Residential School. His achievements include EGK and Sons Gold Medal for Academic Excellence, represented Mangalore University campus chess team, holds 2 Guinness World Records with Sri Siddhivinayaka Residential School. Mr. Sharana Kumara's leadership and dedication to education have made a significant impact on his students and community. May I now invite Mr. Sharana Kumara to share his exceptional insights with us. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Thanks to Abhilash ma'am, Aikes, and especially Srimati Srilata Rao. At least few of you may be having, how come this fellow has got the chance to present here? To tell you frankly, these papers made me to present my school in this August gathering. So you can give a big round of applause to these papers. These are all not ordinary papers. These are all recycled papers. It is prepared in our school itself. So everybody will get a sample of this paper, and I kept title for my presentation as I am not useless, I am useless. Reason? So whenever after use of the paper, we throw it away without understanding how much effort involved in manufacturing the paper. So taking into consideration, I kept title for my presentation, I am not useless, I am useless. And even it holds good for all of us. Even during our tough time, we can take this tagline, we can feel that we are good enough to face our tough time. So here is a small video which shows how we are going to recycle the paper in our campus. you. This is how paper is recycled in our school, and whatever the envelopes required for our school, everything is generated in our campus itself, and files, all other craft related work, we are using these papers only. And this is one aspect. And what made us to purchase that machine, here is the clear picture. 1 ton of recycled paper saves 3 tons of food, 1 lakh liters of water. This is the main, how best we can contribute for the nature. So this has made us to purchase that. We have invested nearly 10 lakhs for that, but we feel that it is a worth investment from the school. This is one good practice we are having in our school, and some examples related to today's conference theme. I think everybody has received the copy of this book. This book is a small book, but it has made a big impact in the student community. I think most of you may be knowing that we, Siddhivinayaka School, proudly says that our school is the first school in the entire nation to have 2 Guinness World Record at a time. It has happened because of this small book. We have printed nearly 4,000 books, copies of the book, and it was first distributed to our students, then later even other school students also, just to make them to understand how best they can utilize their free time for good cause, and how to interact with the family members, everything. All the information is given in this book, and I will not go through in detail about this. I think you can read it later. Along with that, we have kept one sheet of recycled paper for your reference. And this book has made them to find the way how best they can utilize their time for good cause. As it is a small initiative, it has created a lot of interest among the students to spend their time for other activities. And even also in this book, we had mentioned nearly 30 different kinds of games where they can spend their time and use for their overall development. One among that was Rubik's Cube. And as most of you know, it will help us to improve the hand and mind coordination, to increase the concentration, mainly to come out of the excess usage of the gadgets. So we succeeded, and this is the photos shows our Guinness World Record. One was in Kazakhstan, another was in London. Both we brought it to our country, and this is what our student has done it. The another reason is last year we celebrated our Silver Jubilee. During that time, instead of calling some celebrity from outside, we thought to make our own students as celebrities. We succeeded in that. 1,200 students of our school are now internationally recognized. Now they are the celebrities. And because of that, they have got the internationally recognized certificate. That is the main reason. And other things, as already highlighted, advantage of having the Guinness World Record. In that aspect, we are very happy and we are proud that we could guide our students in a right direction and to make them to realize that even they can do the wonders. And continuation of that, it was not restricted to only our school. Whatever the Rubik's Cubes were used in our school, we used nearly more than 10,000 Rubik's Cubes. Among that, nearly 6,500 Rubik's Cubes were distributed to nearly 43 school students. Majority are government school students. And what is the result of this? Every year we conduct the taluk level competitions. From last 28 years we were conducting in our school. In that, last year we had 46 students from 17 schools to participate in the Rubik's Cube competition. But this year we could see the good raise in the number. 89 students from 26 schools participated in the Rubik's Cube competition. It shows that there is an impact of whatever the record we have done in our school, in the society. We are proud of that. Next, this is about our Guinness record. Next one is we have an unwritten policy in our school. That is one student, one chance. Whenever you enter any school, in the beginning itself, you can see lot of trophies. Or in the principal chamber, you see lot of trophies. That we get because of sending the best team to participate in the competition outside the school and to get the trophies. But in our school, we have unwritten policy that one student will get one chance to represent school in that academic year. Though that child is talented, we don't give the second chance for the student. The main reason is that even we would like to encourage the second best, other students also. Why I'm saying this? See, whoever gets the prize, there is no guarantee that the child may remember us or not for our whatever the guidance or whatever the support we had given. But definitely the second best students, whether they get the prize or not, definitely they will remember the school and the teachers for their encouragement. So that's why we have this policy in our school, and we succeeded in that. We are not bothered about the result of the competition wherever our students are participating. We are focusing on our effort and involvement. We are happy for that. And this is about my school, what the innovative work we are having. Before I conclude, this is my last slide. Let us not give the feeling for our students that they are useless. They are really useless. They are useless. That's why the teacher's favorite dialogue is that, you useless fellow. That is the common word we use inside the class. But it is not the fault of the student. It is the fault of the teachers because we are not using it properly. So hereafter, let us not have that feeling that they are useless. Really, they are useless. So how we can change that? Majority are principals here, school leaders. By end of February, March, we asked the teachers whether they had completed. In the morning, we had this discussion about syllabus. Instead of asking the teachers about the completion of the syllabus, we shall ask the students. We never ask the students whether they had completed the syllabus or not. We always ask the teachers only. We ask the teachers whether they had written the lesson plan or not as for the whole academic year. But we never ask the students whether they had completed the syllabus, whatever is delivered by the teachers. And second point, about the result. After immediately completion of our all school day, we will start to focus on our 10th standard. After getting the result, to have a big banners in front of the school, to give big advertisements in the newspaper stating that we have 20th time got 100%, 50th time we have got 100%. But we never think of whether the child is able to get 100% result in the exam of their life. That is very much needed for the day. That is what our today's conference is highlighting. So by taking into these 2 points consideration, definitely we can evaluate humanity. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the enlightening session. Now let me introduce our next renowned speaker, Mrs. Saira Banu, BA. Mrs. Saira Banu is a dedicated educator and principal with over 25 years of experience in teaching and educational leadership. She has been the principal of Pune Learning Center in Bangalore for the past 6 years. Saira Banu has a Bachelor of Education and Bachelor of Arts from MES College Malleshwaram. She has also received training in Montessori methods, counseling, and special education. Additionally, she has attended various workshops and seminars on educational topics such as teacher training, student misconception, and instructional methodologies. Saira Banu is passionate about providing wholesome education that fosters children's natural abilities, curiosity, and wonder. She has conducted numerous projects, workshops, and activities in education, including outdoor education programs, storytelling workshops, and teacher training sessions. Her goal is to make a positive impact on education and empower teachers and students alike. May I now request Mrs. Saira Banu to offer her perspective on today's topic. Please, ma'am.
Yeah, hello everyone. Here I am here with a different concept you might not even heard of. Have you heard of children not going to school without uniforms? Have you heard of? Yes or no? I just need your voices. Yeah. So, but here we are going to see that in our school we don't have uniforms, we don't have exams till 9th, and we also see that most of them, if you look at our school doesn't have doors. So which is this school? Which is this unnatural school which is very different? And why is it so different? And why is it called an alternate school? Yes, this is Poorna Learning Center, which is in Bangalore, which is a very small school. It's an alternate school and has around 195 kids with 38 teachers. And we also have an in-house counselor, and we have instructors, and based on what you look at the building, this was planned by the students. And students' voice are heard, and we also take in the collaboration of our students, and this is where Poorna stands today. Poorna is 30 years old, and it has been incorporated or visioned by Indira Vijaysimha. She started in 1993, and this is her vision: to have happy, inclusive community of learners who can thrive and care for the world. This is for the children. If you look at children today, they are just being like bad, like you can see them just being forced to do a lot of work. They come to school, and after school they have a lot of work that they have to do, either go to tuitions or they have to go attend different classes. But this is what our school does, that we want our school to thrive, for children to be happy. We don't want children to lose their childhood. And if you look at a mission line, building a child-centric and a democratic ecosystem that helps diverse learners grow as responsible and reflective individuals through innovative and holistic education. You might think, what is this? Why are we adding this with diverse learners? Not every child is the same. They are different. Like the learning values, the learning system, as an individual, they are made with different kind of learning values that they come up in different ways, but that is being coped in our school. And we also see that we give them the opportunity by giving them different kind of learning that doesn't happen just with one teacher doing it, but we try out different ways of making them learn the topic or the concepts that are to be learned. But you might also think, how are we going to assess, what are we going to do? You will see in my next slide, these are our values, which we have been hearing from the morning. What is this? This is a school with just children, and we have in each class, we have only 17 children. And we don't have that first standard, second standard, or third standard. We don't group them among the standards. We group them according to the age. And we also see that in those ages, like they have to go from one class to another. How do they know that they are moving from one class to another? So the students themselves choose the theme of their classroom topics. You know, what is the theme that they would choose for that year? So there is an election that is going to be held, and children choose the name of their classroom. That means every year the classrooms change, the names of the classroom will change. And they move from first standard, or we call it as one group to another group. This is still ninth. This happens till 9. And these are our core values where we believe in integrity. We're having compassion towards all human beings. How do we do that? Because we have children in our school who are around more than 40% of our kids come from BPL, that is below poverty line children. We taken very consciously, we have taken 60% of the kids are from the highly economic side, and these 40% of the kids are from the economical background, and they are integrated part of our school. It doesn't say that you just brought in just for the sake of it. It's not. To bring in the equality, to respect humanity, to respect each other. This was our core value, and we look at the compassion towards all human beings. It's not only the human beings here, around the nature, the animals that are there, the environment that is there. That is what we want to create, that compassion. The holistic development is again taken from the Gandhian philosophy, where we work towards our mind, body, and soul. And we see that the socio-emotional, the physical, intellectual, and creative and ethical development happens. And it is through various activities that we develop this. We have classrooms with the subjects. We have a proper structured timetable. We have also the subjects that we are supposed to do. And with these subjects, we integrate all the subjects and we help them to see that they are learning with curiosity. What is learning? Learning is something that will help you to go forward or move forward in your life. It is not that I stop learning today, whatever the teacher has done. That's where it doesn't stop. It has to move forward, and it's it's a lifelong learning. And this journey starts from the school. And if you look at, we have inclusiveness, which I've already spoken, and community, innovation, and creativity. We have the next. So Indra, as I told you, she drew from the Totar Kahani, Rabindranath Tagore, and that's where the school was started. And she also visualized a very vibrant and child-centric school. And with her passion, we all just grew into this, and we started with 3 children, and we all just stood together to make the school a more creative and happy place. And the next slide, yeah. Poorna is just not a school, it's a community that believes in unconventional. We are not going in a conventional way, we are going in an unconventional way. A community that believes in giving back more than what it has taken. We give it to the society, to the people, and that brings in everyone together on this journey forward. We want to move forward. We want everyone together. We don't want to be excluded from the society. We want everyone to be together, and that is what we feel. Some of the practices that I would like to just talk about is that we build our own curriculum, own syllabus. Though NCERT is our base, it's just a guide, but we make our own syllabus and own worksheets that is needed age-wise and ability-wise, and each class has different ability, and differentiated teaching is done. And there are 2 teachers in each class for 17 kids, and these cater to the needs of the children. And learning goals are planned. We sit together and just see that how we can achieve our goals, not by forcing, not by telling the children that you're not good at this or you're not. We look at the pace of the children and help them to move forward. And next. And as Poorna culture is very child-centric, we have their voices heard. As I told you, the building was also built on the decision that was done by the children. Then we have the student parliament. The grievances that is happening in the school is brought out in the parliament. The leaders are elected by the students in the classroom, And these children are later become the part of the parliament, and they have a connect between the school and the management. Like they bring in all the grievances, talk among themselves, they bring in the solution, and then they come to us and they tell us, this is what is going to work for our school. Can we do it? And that is how the student parliament works. They have different events that they take up. They have the event management, sports management that they take on, and they take care of the whole school running. And it is just the student, and we are just as guides and mentors that we help them. And some of the practices that we have is sustainability. I know that most of you have been doing here. That is sustainability about, you see, like we use all the reused material. We don't bring in new things. We use whatever is available in the school or in our premises, in our surroundings. And then those are the things that are going to be used. Even the cloth, like the waste cloth, that is brought to the school, and we make daris, we make tablecloths, we stitch, and this is done through the activities. Then we have rainwater harvesting, which is, we use grey water, whatever the grey water is there in the school comes back cleaned, and we use it in the toilets and even in washing areas for the ant planting. And we use only chemical-free detergents, no soaps that are which are chemical based. We don't use that. We prepare our own soaps and detergents. And waste segregation is one of the things where each and every child in the class segregates these waste. They clean up the classrooms. Every day before going, they have to clean the classrooms. We don't use our support staff to clean the classroom. We tell our children to become self-sufficient, not to make this labor difference, like only the support staff has to clean the classroom. That's not the thing. The children themselves will clean the classroom before they go. They segregate the waste. If it is wet waste, they put it in a green bin. If it is a dry waste, they put it in a blue bin. It has been labeled, and that's how they segregate it. And we are recognized by the state government. We are also recognized by the Cambridge board. Our children, after 9th, take this boards, which is IGCSE and NIOS board. And we have more than 500 to 600 children who are the alumni who have passed out from our school, and they're all over the country where they're doing quite well. You name them and they're there everywhere. And it's a microorganism society in our school. Like from various background, you can see that the children have come. And as I've been talking about, it is holistic, child-centric, and a more collaborative learning that you can hear. And the next slide. I was talking about this, affiliated to IGCSE board and 10th. And we also follow the 10th. And these are some of the things that I would like to explain in detail. One of the things that we started right from 15 to 20 years back is community cooking. This is how it starts is we give an amount to each and every class. Like, as it's on a rota basis, we give an amount. The children will have to decide what they're going to cook for the whole school. They have to go to the market with the help of the class teacher. One teacher accompanies them. They have to go to the market, buy the things, come back to school, and they have to cook. They have to find the material around the school. They have to find the wood, they have to find the vessels, what is the right vessel that is needed. Everything, with the help of the teacher, class teacher, they all sit together and decide and cook for the whole school. And here it is not just that we are going to cook because we want our own taste. No, they have to look at the amount and what is going to be nutritional. So with this nutritional value, they all sit together and they decide. And they have to cook a full meal for the whole school. They'll have rice, they'll have sambar, and they'll also have one vegetable and one sweet. This is how they have to cater. And They all sit together and decide, and they cook. They'll have to wash the vessels, they'll have to serve. At the end of it, they'll have to clean the vessels and see that it goes back to the place. It's not that we finish it and then the other support staff is going to do it. No, it is that they'll have to finish this whole thing, clean it, and they have to leave that place. Of course, the half a day of the school, their classes will go, but the teachers sacrifice that and feel that it is a learning process. And it helps them in building the teamwork, being respectful about the work that is being done, being valued for the work that is being done, and respectful for the things that they see around. Not to just put someone down or just say that this is not my work, but to bring this value-added system, we have brought in this community cooking, and it has been working very well. The other activities that we have is like most of them in, if you go to a town, you find all these lace packet or all this, attractive things, chocolates and these things, and everyone wants to buy those and eat them. But they all felt, oh, we can just go to the shop and buy things. But how do we just make them aware from where the food comes from? So what we did was, we started our own project. It is called as Ragi Project. Sorry, those photos are in the end. I'm not able to just show you. I'll show you in the end. This Ragi Project was an interesting thing where we had to grow Ragi. So when we started growing Ragi, we were unlucky. We didn't get rain that month. Usually in June, it rains heavily in Bangalore. For an unlucky thing, we were not able. It just rained a bit, and then we had to just sow ragi. But before sowing the ragi seeds, they had to test the soil, and they had to know from where ragi came from. They had to know the history. They had to know why is this culture, who grows it, how it happened. So after all the discussion, they did sow ragi, but it was not happening. So they had to take drip irrigation. They had to find ways how they can grow it. By the end of 6 months, they were able to grow ragi, and they were able to get around more than 30 to 40 kgs of ragi with the end of it. We made a recipe book for ragi, and also prepared a lot of dishes what ragi can do, because ragi is always considered as a poor man's food. So to bring in that change in the mindset, we had to do this. And then we have farm visits where the children go and work in the farm every week. It's on a rota basis that in a year at least you'll have 2-3 kids who will be going to the farm. And in the end, we have all our labs, and one of the ICT labs. We also have a science labs and a pottery unit. We have a carpentry unit where everything is set up. Children can go and do the theater and pottery. We have a yoga place. Art is one of the most important thing in our school, where every child has to experience art, and they create with their own medium, and they also do their exams. And theater of the oppressed is one of the things which is not, this is not theater. Theater of the oppressed is a different kind of theater where you have to express your feelings. So we have a teacher who comes and also teaches this, and we have assemblies which are going to be very different, and the children present the assemblies and they talk about the books reviews, and this helps them in learning their languages and also appreciating the books which we want everyone to read. Something to be away from the screens. What we have done is, we have created where children can play traditional games, and we tell our parents, please just see that these games are also played in the house, like the chess boards or some game boards. These are going to be taught to the parents, and also the same things can be done in the house. So we have eco market, that is Purna Sante, every month. Once a week, like the last month of the Saturday, we have Purna Sante, where we have all the local farmers coming and selling the products in the school, and all the parents come over there. We have a lot of workshops on that day. Based on the need of the workshop, we have this. We have in-house counselor, and we also have the Enfold organization coming and telling us how to just talk with the parents and what is the need of the parents. Based on the need of the parents, we organize these things, and we see that they are in tune with what we are doing. And yeah, this is something, this is our assembly. If you can go fast, I can just tell. Yeah, this is a classroom. This is, you can see children playing the traditional games, and they are working in the farm, and they are going on it. And these are annual trips, which is compulsory for every child. They have to go for annual trips. And this is our community lunch. You can see that children are gone to the market, they do the things, and then we have this pottery thing. Yeah. So you can see, and this is our Sante. And you can see children have produced their things and they sell it. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful presentation. We'll now open the floor for questions. Please feel free to ask your queries you would like to know with the presenters.
This question is to Saira Banu, ma'am. Won't it be a challenge to run such kind of schools in these kind of situations now? Commercially, I'm talking. How difficult it is to run such kind of schools in this era, where education has become merely a business?
Is that every place should have a Purna. That is what we want people to understand and start trying. Because Indira started just with her 3 kids with no money. She's just started with a shed, and you need people who understand you. Every area, every place should have a Purna. It will flourish. And with just the vision that you should have, it will happen. Yes, commercial schools are running. We want to be out of the thing so that it works better and make better learning impact on the children who are going to schools and to understand what learning means. Yes, I totally agree with you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
What is this theater of the oppressed? I'm very curious
Yeah.
how it operates and whether the students would be open in terms of expressing their pains.
Yes, yes. So here they come up with their emotions, and it is not through actions. Like with the emotions and the life skills that they have to learn, is given a situation where the children come up and they express. And it is showcased in a very different way. Rather than having a stage, it is going to be showcased in a different place, and also people should talk about it. It's a very interactive theater. So that is about the theater of the oppressed.
Good evening. My question is to Mr. Ashok, sir. Sir, you said that students go to certain particular subject classes, language classes. Doesn't the timetable clash? How do you follow?
Preparing the timetable is very important in that case. In one particular period, the same study cannot be overlapped. For example, in first period, we can have English for one class only. That cannot be overlapped.
Yeah.
In that way, we have to prepare the timetable. Timetable preparation is very decisive in this, the implementation of the subject as classroom. You have to be very careful while preparing the timetable. There cannot be 2 English classes in one period.
That's what, that
Yeah.
was my doubt.
Yes.
You said that children don't go to the different standard classes, but they go to the different subject classes.
Yes.
My question to Sharan Kumar Attiangadi is regarding, is there a government subsidy for the recycling paper? One thing is. Second, if you are printing A4 size papers, colorful papers, are they available for sale?
So far we are not into commercial. There is no support from the government so far. And if you are in need of the papers, definitely we will supply for you, because we are able to produce a good number of papers, and it is of good quality also. Definitely we can provide you. Thank you.
Thank you, presenters, and thank you, delegates. The roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation for goodness. May I now invite Mrs. Joy J. Rai, Principal of SDM English Medium School, Mangalore, to present a memento to Ms. Vibha K.R. as a gesture of our appreciation. Thank you, ma'am. Let me take the privilege to call Mr. Uday Kumar A.N., Principal of Podar International School, Udupi, to present a memento to Mr. Ashok Tekate as a mark of our admiration. Thank you, sir. May I request Mrs. Nazrana Shafi, Principal of Al Furqan Islamic English Medium School, Mangalore, to present a memento to Mr. Sharana Kumara as a tribute to your remarkable contribution. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Mrs. Sureka, Principal of Canara High School, Mangalore, to present a memento to Mrs. Saira Banu as a token of our esteem. Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your valuable contributions today. Your perspectives made this session truly impactful. Now it's time to take a bio break. I request to all our dignified delegates to assemble here after 5 minutes for the valedictory program. Thank you all.